A money laundering scandal in one of the world's most regulated markets has caught Wall Street's
The
attention.
10 suspects related to a billion-dollar money laundering case have been remanded for another 8 days.
In early 2022, a series of events unfolded in Singapore that would eventually send shockwaves through the financial world. This is the story of how a massive, transnational billion-dollar money laundering scheme was uncovered and dismantled. This is one of the largest anti-money laundering operations, not just in Singapore, but likely in the world. On October 3, 2023, Singapore's second Minister for Home Affairs delivered a statement in the parliament, shedding light on the intricate web of criminal activities that had been operating under the radar, hidden in plain sight. So, how did this intricate money laundering scheme unfold, and how did it finally get caught? This is a story of diligence, international cooperation, and the unyielding resolve of the Singaporean authorities to protect their financial integrity. To understand the magnitude of this money laundering case, we must first grasp the nature of money laundering itself. Money laundering is a global issue, a clandestine process used to legitimize ill-gotten gains by obscuring their origins. It threatens the integrity of financial systems worldwide. Money laundering typically involves a series of intricate steps, mainly placement, layering, and finally integration. In the placement stage, the illicit funds are introduced into the legitimate financial system. The most popular method is to divide large amounts of cash into less suspicious smaller sums. They also include methods such as cash deposits, blending illegal money with legitimate money, and gambling or betting on sports events. The layering stage often employs tactics to confuse authorities, such as creating shell companies, using offshore accounts, or engaging in high-frequency trading. The aim is to make it incredibly challenging to trace the money's origin. Finally, the money reaches the integration stage. At this point, it's made to appear as if it's legitimate income or assets. This could involve purchasing real estate, luxury goods, or simply moving the funds through legitimate business transactions. This step will make the money available to the criminal once again, from what seem to be legitimate sources. Money laundering doesn't just harm financial integrity, it has far-reaching consequences. It distorts economies, encourages corruption, and even supports criminal activities. In a world where money laundering is a growing concern, Singapore's role as a major financial hub is pivotal. Often referred to as the Switzerland of the East, Singapore boasts a strong reputation for economic stability, transparency, and a robust rule of law. As criminals seek to exploit this economic openness, it becomes essential for Singapore to have stringent anti-money laundering measures in place. This is not the first time Singapore has taken serious enforcement action against money laundering. From the 1MDB case to the Wirecard fraud scandal, Singapore has demonstrated a commitment to protecting its financial reputation and integrity. In the following minutes, we'll delve deeper into the events and complexities of this 2.8 billion Singapore dollars anti-money laundering operation. As we mentioned earlier, the Singaporean authorities initiated the investigation in early 2022. It began with seemingly disparate pieces of information and reports in 2021. These included the use of suspected forged documents to support the sources of funds and bank accounts in Singapore and suspicious transaction alerts filed by financial institutions and other companies. The operation was so massive and intricate that authorities needed to proceed with extreme caution. They kept the work confined to a very small group of officers to prevent alerting the suspects. Their primary objective was to investigate extensively and gather as much information as possible before making any overt moves. All of this seemingly unrelated information was the starting point for what would later become a comprehensive, coordinated intelligence probe. This probe gradually unveiled a complex web of individuals believed to have connections, including familial ties. Ultimately, when the police assessed that they had gathered enough information, they consulted with the Attorney General's chambers. It was determined that there was sufficient reason to suspect criminal offenses had been committed in Singapore. That marked the moment that the arrests could be made. On August 15th, over 400 police officers from various divisions conducted raids throughout Singapore. Raids were conducted at good-class bungalows, condominiums, and landed properties, a reflection of the broad reach of the money laundering scheme. 10 suspects were arrested and charged in court with money laundering offenses, and they were all remanded after being denied bail. Some faced additional charges of forgery, while 2 were also charged with resisting arrest and perverting the course of justice. These suspects all shared Chinese origins, but their nationalities and passports ranged from Cyprus to Cambodia, underscoring the transnational nature of the operation. During the raid on August 15th, prohibition of disposal orders were issued against 94 properties and 50 vehicles, with a total estimated value of more than 815 million Singapore dollars, as well as multiple ornaments and bottles of liquor and wine. The police also seized more than 35 related bank accounts with a total estimated balance of more than 110 million Singapore dollars. Also seized were cash, amounting to more than 23 million Singapore dollars, more than 250 luxury bags and watches, more than 120 electronic devices such as computers and mobile phones, more than 270 pieces of jewelry, 2 gold bars, and 11 documents with information on virtual assets. The story doesn't end with the 10 arrests. Many others who haven't been arrested are assisting with ongoing investigations, while others are wanted by the police but are not currently in the country. In fact, at least 2 of the arrested suspects are said to be wanted by police in China. Additionally, an additional 24 suspects were named in a law ministry notice sent out in late August. The criminal proceeds that were allegedly laundered in this case likely came from activities outside Singapore, including illegal online gambling and unlicensed money lending. One of the men arrested claims to be the chief executive of a computer support firm, Unravel Technology, but does not even know where his office is located at. Investigations show this firm is a shell company as prosecutors argued against bail for Vanuatu national Su Jianfeng. He faces 4 money laundering charges. In an update on September 20th, the police reported that the total value of the seized assets stood at more than 2.4 billion Singapore dollars. However, the story didn't end there. Since then, the authorities have continued their efforts, conducting further operations and extensive investigations, resulting in the total value of assets seized or frozen, soaring to more than 2.8 billion Singapore dollars. This is the latest figure, reported on October 3rd. This now included the prohibition of disposal orders issued against 152 properties and 62 vehicles with a total estimated value of more than 1.24 billion Singapore dollars. This includes 19 units at a premium condominium Canning Hill Piers and a $26 million penthouse. 1.45 billion have also been seized from bank accounts. As more information comes to light, investigations hint that the suspects were operating an online gambling operation based in the Philippines which were aimed at Chinese users. Affidavits also revealed more information about suspect Su Jianfeng. Despite being labeled as a Vanuatu national, he possessed passports from China, Vanuatu, and St. Kitts and Nevis. He faces 4 charges, which includes the possession of illegal proceeds from illegal remote gambling offenses, compromising 17 million Singapore dollars in 3 safe deposit boxes and 550,000 Singapore dollars in cash. A total of 231 million Singapore dollars in assets were seized from him or his wife. The investigations also extended to charitable donations made by some of the suspects. Some charities have chosen to ring-fence these donations, demonstrating their commitment to maintaining their integrity. Others have gone a step further and lodged police reports, with the intention of surrendering the monies in question to the police. The magnitude of these seizures is a stark reminder of the vast sums involved in the billion-dollar money laundering scheme. As police investigations are ongoing, there's a possibility of more arrests and further assets being seized. The sheer diversity of assets, from cryptocurrency to luxury goods, showcases the adaptability of money launderers and the need for comprehensive measures to counter their illicit activities. In the wake of this colossal anti-money laundering operation, the government of Singapore has taken decisive steps to safeguard its financial system's integrity. Singaporean authorities are working closely with sectoral regulators to ensure that companies and individuals who may have abetted money laundering are held accountable for their actions. These sectoral regulators encompass government agencies responsible for overseeing corporate service providers, real estate agents, and financial institutions. Their goal is to take action if negligence or non-compliance with anti-money laundering requirements is identified. As investigations continue, the authorities are unrelenting in their pursuit of those involved in money laundering. The message is clear: Singapore will not hesitate to take strong enforcement action against individuals who would use the country as a haven for laundering the proceeds of crime. In an era where criminals continually evolve their tactics, it is imperative for nations and financial institutions to continually adapt their practices and enhance their alert systems to detect and combat financial crimes effectively. For Singapore, to keep its place as a leading financial hub, this commitment shown via its swift action reassures investors and businesses that the country remains a safe and transparent place to conduct financial transactions. Thank you for watching. It would mean the world to us if you hit the subscribe button.